Hello, great people, and here we go again on Amogate Radio Communications. And our theme this quarter is Lagos as the economic gateway of Africa, prospects and possibilities. Lagos as the economic gateway of Africa, prospects and possibilities. And I'm your uncle, Abiodun Abari. Thanks for joining me for another impactful and informative time with us. So last week we were able to establish an overview of Lagos being the economic gateway of Africa, looking at prospects, the possibilities, and of course, in dealing with all of that, the challenges that we envisage. Okay, we're able to talk about dealing with them adequately in order to achieve that efficiency for Africa, the African the economy. Yes, we talked about how Lagos can be pivotal, okay, to Africa's economic boom, okay, and deliver an impactful, time and impactful experience for Africans, okay, and all investors all over the world, of course, impacting the global economy. Okay, we talked about Lagos being the financial capital, right? I talked about the strategic positioning as regards the African continental free trade area. Okay, we talked about being the home of the corporate headquarters of multinationals. Okay, we talked about the trade. Okay, the trade infrastructure. Okay, logistics infrastructure. Talked about being the tech hub. All right, the home. Okay, talking about being the Silicon Valley of Africa, tech and innovation taking place right there in Lagos. Talking about the city's advantage in terms of aquaculture, all right, and also multimodal transportation. Okay, I mean, the demographics of Lagos okay, also positions it as that gateway to the $3 trillion African markets and the over 1.4 billion people that Africa has to offer, consumers that Africa has to offer. Okay. And of course, Lagos facilitates the bulk of Nigeria's international regional trade. Talking about the Lekki deep sea ports, okay, which handles majority of the country's cargo. All right, and talking about the massive supply chain network, the major food logistics hub, and the role in terms of distribution of agricultural products across the region. Okay, not to mention the NGX. Okay, and of course, the control of capital in the region. So Lagos itself needs to cement its status as a world-class financial district. Tailored to global play, to global intervention, and being a global platform for global players. Very important. Okay. And I say that Lagos offers that rare melting point of natural resources, okay, digital and financial and logistics. I'm talking of physical infrastructure, right, and of course innovation. Okay, that's rare melting points is what Lagos actually offers. All right, I'm talking about being Africa's Silicon Valley. We're talking about being a coalition point, okay, for venture capitalists and having over 2,500 startups in Lagos. Okay, I'm talking about the tech infrastructure. You've got the submarine cables and of course hyperscale data centers, right, which are very important for artificial intelligence. Okay. Yes, and in as much as Lagos is the digital center of West Africa, the most vibrant innovation ecosystem, okay, it still has to do a lot when it comes to power generation. Okay, power generation, which is also very, very important for artificial intelligence. Okay, and, the energy deficits is something that is still alarming. Okay, there's still no uninterrupted power supply, and of course, the power supply needs to be more diversified so that other sustainable forms of energy too can be explored to ensure there is an adequate supply of energy to actually support the tech ecosystem and of course the Lagos economy as a whole. So Lagos itself, stands as Nigeria's most prominent economic asset. Okay, and it should be Africa's premier number one economic gateway. Okay, so geographically, occupies a narrow strip of land, along the Bight of Benin. Okay, and although Lagos covers only about 3,577 square kilometers, okay, and of course that makes it the smallest state in Nigeria by land mass, but the population, okay, the demographics is, population is about 26 million people. So, and that's is some economic output being generated. Okay, some GDP being generated that makes Lagos rank among maybe the top 5 largest economies in Africa. All right. Always rivaling countries like outcomes. GDPs of countries like Kenya, Angola, Ghana, and the rest. So you talk about Lagos being an economic gateway. It's not just as a phenomenon that's contemporary, okay, or something that you say is as a result of Nigeria's oil boom or a sort of globalization, okay, but you look at that evolution, all right, and look at the trajectory, you look at the narrative, and it's quite connected to it, the geography too, okay, geography, okay, being along the coast, okay, and that's must have also impacted development, impacted civilization, okay, and impacted trade, logistics, interaction, okay, and talking about the historic trade networks, okay, and the accelerated industrialization, all right, and of course the financial engineering, technology-driven performance. Okay, and look at that direction, that trajectory, and you understand that Lagos is actually strategically positioned. And then, of course, now we have deep sea ports of Lekki. We have the industrial clusters in the Ikeja, Isolo, and of course the digital hub. Okay, in Yaba, talking about Africa's Silicon Valley. So Lagos can actually be that pipeline, like that conduit, okay, for a global capital, okay, to sub-Saharan Africa, okay, and Africa as a whole. Okay, so that's very, very important. That's massive consumer markets. Okay, so Lagos can actually be that gateway. So, like I said, one of the strengths of Lagos is geography. Okay, is that geographical imperative. Is a natural port city situated on the southwestern coast of Nigeria. All right. So, and the state has a complex network of creeks, islands, lagoons that open directly into the Atlantic Ocean. Okay. So this maritime landscape, or this maritime topography is, has positioned Lagos, historically as a natural, go-to trading post, long before Nigeria was formed. Okay, you even had the Lagos colony. All right, so Lagos geography, the positions is that's a natural trading post, and that has historical backing. And also you look at that evolution from that dependence, that decades-old dependence on the two ports of Apapa and Tinkan Island, which of course, served for decades as the primary entry point for over 70% of Nigeria's non-oil international and global and regional trade. Okay, so from that, now that we have dependence now on the Lekki deep sea ports, okay, that's evolution too is also instructive, because as the city grew, the ports, I mean the Apapa and Tinkan ports face a lot of structural challenges, and we call the severe traffic congestion along those corridors and so that, and of course the shallow draft limitations also prevented larger modern vessels from berthing. Okay, and like I said, the infrastructure was actually aging and so on. And then came the Lekki deep sea port now, so which has now secured its position as securing Lagos' position as Africa's maritime capital. Okay, so and now focus has shifted eastward towards the Lekki free trade zone. So the Lekki deep sea port actually allows superside, post Panamax container vessels to berth seamlessly in Nigeria, and that's actually novel. And this must be said that the Lekki deep sea port has actually altered the trade landscape in West Africa, the trade dynamics in West Africa, because Lagos can now receive massive mother vessels. Okay, so that's actually now acting as like a regional sorting and redistribution hub for smaller feeder vessels that are going to other West African ports. Okay, and that's very significant. Okay, and even talking about in terms of efficiency, turnaround efficiency. So you have automated container terminals now and advanced custom scanning technologies. Okay, embedded in the Lekki deep port operations. So and those has actually been able to bring down cargo dwell times from weeks to days. Okay, and that's very massive for businesses. I'm sure it's impacting productivity, impacting GDP numbers. Okay, also in terms of competitiveness, right? Because of course businesses have to compete on the global landscape. So and the cost competitiveness will also be a factor. Okay, for ports to be patronized. Okay, so by being able to accommodate larger vessels, so you can have economies of scale unlocked. Okay, so and that can lead to lower freight costs. Okay, for businessmen, importers, exporters. Okay, across the globe, across the continent, across West Africa. Right. So that's the dynamics. Okay, how the Lekki deep sea port has impacted the dynamics. Okay, the trade dynamics, especially on the West African landscape. Okay, being able to receive massive mother vessels. So Lagos now acts as a regional sorting and distribution hub for smaller feeder vessels that are going to the West African ports. Okay, that's significant. Of course, I talked about the efficiency. All right, that's the reduction in the cargo dwell times. Okay, reduction from weeks to days, and of course, being able to achieve economies of scale, achieve cost competitiveness, being able to achieve lower freight costs. Okay, for businessmen, for traders, for importers and exporters. Very important. At this point, we'll take a break, and when we come back, it's still Lagos as the economic gateway of Africa, prospects and possibilities. Stay with us.
At Armor Gates Training, we believe professional development should do more than inform. It should transform how people work, lead, and deliver results. That's why we support organizations through conceptual insight, practical learning, and performance evaluation right at the intersection of leadership, strategy, and institutional transformation. Our approach focuses on practical learning format that professionals can immediately apply in their workplace. At Armor Gate, But we don't teach theory alone. We equip participants with real-world insight drawn from almost 2 decades of organizational transformation experience. Our programs combine multiple learning methods designed for real-time measurable results. Through seminars, we facilitate deep conversation on key subjects. Using group exercises, participants collaborate, reflect, and think strategically. With case studies, they then sharpened analytical and decision-making skills using real industry scenarios. Through relevant videos, we spark insightful discussions using relatable real-life context. All in all, every participant develops an individual work plan, ensuring the learning turns into real action after the program. Our training programs are hosted in world-class venues across global cities, including Addis Ababa, Nairobi, Mombasa, Cape Town, Dubai, Singapore, Kuala Lumpur, London, Florida, and Washington, D.C. Let's work with you to turn learning into your organization's growth. For more inquiries, call +234 807 9574 151 or WhatsApp +1 610 504 6026. Visit www.thearmorgate.org. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn at Armorgate. Armorgate Training, transforming knowledge, interaction, and growth.
Welcome back. It's still at Lagos as the economic gateway of Africa, prospects and possibilities on Armorgate Radio Communications, and I'm your host, Abiodun Habari. All right, so we continue by talking about Lagos in terms of its demography. It's talking about the human capital element of Lagos. Okay, and because of that hyper dense concentration of labor, okay, you also have intellect too. You have innovation and entrepreneurial ambitions. Okay, and because you're having the average density that actually nears about 7,000 people per square kilometer. Okay, that's the hyper dense of concentration, and I assure you, you have a lot of talented people in Lagos. And talking about the creative economy, talking about Nollywood, okay, talking about even entertainment, talking about artists from Lagos that have become global brands today, artists that actually hone their skills in Lagos, and from there they are able to access the global market, because every day thousands of migrants enter Lagos from other parts of Nigeria, other parts of West Africa, other parts of Africa in search of a better life, in search of economic opportunities. Okay, and it's okay, they get to the port, they'll get jobs, even if it's labor jobs, even if it's casual jobs, to get by, they will get jobs in Lagos, okay, industries and so on. So because Lagos itself offers large consumer markets, okay, and that's why you have fast-moving consumer good corporations, telecom operators, you have health service providers, and estate developers, because that's volume of consumers. That's actually provides that opportunity for rapid scaling. Okay, as long as your business model is viable, as long as your business model is on point, all right, you succeed in Lagos, because once you penetrate the Lagos markets and the Lagos consumers are happy with the product, and you're on top of the dynamics, then you can scale quickly, all right, and ensure that you have growth and sustainability in your operations. So yes, we'll talk about that Lagos in terms of having that human capital element. You have entrepreneurial resilience in Lagos, businessmen that have been able to make it against all odds. Someone like Alhaji Aliko Dangote, the richest man in Africa. Okay, you have Montelinguists in Lagos. You have techists. people who are tech literate. You have people that are involved in fintechs, successful fintechs, brands in Lagos. All right, and you have, of course, Amogate is headquartered in Lagos. Okay, our organization, okay, our humble organization, ambitious organization, as we pursue transformational leadership, okay, across the globe. All right, so Lagos offers rare human capital, okay, in terms of intellect, in terms of talent, okay, and of course in terms of creativity. Right, you have the Burna Boys, the Wizkids, and also you have Hollywoods like the RMDs, and so on and so forth. Okay, so that's human capital element too. Okay, must be talked about, and the youth dynamic, right, also is very important, because you have 60% of Lagos population are under 30, right? So actually that means that there's a credible amount of energy, right, in Lagos, and the level of digital literacy is something that is very, very appreciable, something that's very significant in the African context. Okay, all these things position Lagos, okay, to be the economic gateway of Africa. All right, so of course, when you look at markets like Balogun, the Alaba International Market, and you see that young workforce, they are able to traverse the cities and ensure that the right energies and the right inputs to continue to drive, okay, the city is being delivered. All right, so, and you must also talk about Lagos in terms of influence in showing the way in terms of consumer trends. Okay, consumer trends that actually influence the entire Africa. Okay, with fashion or entertainment. Okay, and you see Lagos at the forefront. So, yes, let's talk about Lagos being, hosting the Nigerian Exchange. The Nigerian Exchange GX is headquarters in Lagos, and that is one of the premier stock exchanges in Africa. All right, which of course you have big conglomerates, commercial banks, and of course all giants being listed on the NGX. All right, so, and you also know that most commercial banks, insurance corporations, microfinance banks, and merchant institutions operating in Nigeria have their corporate headquarters in Lagos. So you have that centralization of credit allocation, that centralization of financial capital, okay, and the financial engineering capabilities of Lagos are actually enhanced because they have been coalesced, they're converged on the single corridor, which is Lagos. So that actually positions Lagos as a strategic advantage for Lagos. And that evolution, that recent coming on board of fintech, the fintech innovation, and that relationship with venture capitalists. All right, so you talk about Lagos as being the birthplace of Africa's most proficient, and highly valued tech companies like Flutterwave, Paystack, which has been acquired by Stripe anyway. Okay, talking about OPay, InterSwitch. So, and you see that these organizations have actually, resolved and come with some solutions and change the landscape. Be able to ease some friction points. Talking about the African landscape, okay, because that intersection of finance and technology has actually transformed Lagos to become the fintech capital of Africa, undoubtedly, right? So, and what are the things that are being brought? Financial inclusion, okay, so you see that millions of people that were hitherto unbanked or underbanked are now being included into the formal digital economy, because access to mobile wallets, to agency banking, and those things have actually revolutionized financial inclusion. Impacted financial inclusion. Okay, and talking about cross-border exchanges. Okay, talking about cross-border remittances. All right. So, and being able to streamline the payments corridors across African nations are fragmented. So that actually lays that foundation that's required for the African continental free trade area. And of course, Lagos, in talking about the attraction of FDI, foreign direct investment, that actually draws global venture capital firms, right? And you see that firms like Tiger Global, SoftBank, Y Combinator, and being able to draw billions of dollars in technology investments directly into the Lagos tech ecosystem. Yes, for all you say about Lagos in terms of in a consumer powerhouse, all right? So you also have like industrial zones in Lagos, special economic zones in Lagos, right? Like you have the Ikeja and Ilupeju industrial zone, okay, and which manufacturing, fast moving consumer goods, textiles, pharmaceuticals, okay, and you also have the Lekki free zone, right? The Lekki free zone is actually for exports, manufacturing for exports, all right? So and they come with tax holidays, custom reliefs, incentives, okay, to boost investment and trade, right? So, and of course the Dangote Petrochemical Complex, which hosts the world's largest single train refinery, and of course the urea fertilizer plant. So Lagos is not just a consumer driven powerhouse, but also in terms of industrialization, in terms of special economic zones, Lagos is also playing its part. At this point, we've come to the end of today's episode of Lagos as the economic gateway of Africa, prospects and possibilities. Until I come back with devices again, please keep learning and keep impacting. God bless and bye-bye.
Harmogate, founded in 2008 out of a desire to build transgenerational structures for organizations, institutions, and nations. We have worked with large businesses, international development organizations, and public sector ministries and agencies. Harmogate, our uniqueness is that we do not just work for you, we work with you. For example, we do not leave you to the task after sourcing talent that will help the new hire settle into robust leadership development programs. We are technical experts in advising and supporting institutions on strategy and leadership, artificial intelligence, strategic human resource management, public sector reform, finance, audit and tax, FAT, and strategic communications. We do all this and more out of a desire to transform nations through institutions and organizations. For further inquiries, email contact@theharmogate.org or call +234 810 999 6666, +234 807 957 4151, and +161 0504 6026. www.theharmogate.org. Harmogate, building to endure and transforming nations through institutions and organizations.